Few names spark as much attention as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Their surprise appearance at the Starlight Gala in Los Angeles created a buzz among guests and media. Since stepping back from royal duties, they've championed causes close to their hearts. At the gala, their focus was clear, making a difference, not just being seen. Yet even here, the Sussexes can't escape scrutiny, living as both private individuals and global icons. It's often their quiet, unscripted moments that draw the most attention. The evening's defining moment came unexpectedly. Prince Harry was called to the stage to speak about the charity's mission. As he stood, Meghan reached out, her hand on his arm, a brief supportive touch. She leaned in, whispered something, and he made his way to the microphone. To those nearby, it was a simple, loving gesture. On stage, Harry spoke passionately, sharing stories of the children the charity helps. Cameras captured Meghan's attentive gaze, her pride evident. When Harry returned, Meghan greeted him with a smile and a hand on his knee. These small moments, photographed and shared, quickly became a narrative of their own. For some, it was a portrait of a strong partnership, supportive, united and real. For others, it was a silent message of encouragement, a universal sign of love. But in the digital age, every frame is magnified and debated. The embrace was no longer private, it became a global talking point. Social media exploded with opinions, each interpreting the gesture through their own lens. What began as a quiet exchange was now a public spectacle. The world was ready to weigh in, and the debate was just beginning. Online, criticism was swift and sharp. Some saw Meghan's gesture not as support, but as clinginess. Social media users accused her of being needy, unable to let Harry have his own moment. The embrace was labelled controlling, not affectionate. Comments flooded in. She can't let him go for a second, and always needs to be the centre of attention. Critics dissected every photo, framing her actions as overbearing or performative. For these detractors, Meghan's public displays of affection were seen as calculated, part of a PR strategy. The narrative fit a familiar pattern. Meghan as a disruptive force, her motives always suspect. Hashtags and memes amplified the negativity, creating an echo chamber of criticism. For this group, the brief touch at the gala was more evidence of a troubling pattern. Every gesture was interpreted as proof of insecurity or manipulation. The volume of negative reactions quickly shaped the online conversation. For these royal watchers, the embrace wasn't an isolated moment, it was confirmation of their long-held beliefs. The debate was now in full swing, and the lines were clearly drawn. But for every critic, there was a defender. Many saw Meghan's gesture as loving and natural, a wife supporting her husband. Social media lit up with praise. Relationship goals? So sweet, and what's wrong with showing love? Supporters argued the backlash was rooted in bias, not the gesture itself. They pointed out the double standard. Would anyone else face such scrutiny for a simple touch? For this camp, the embrace was a sign of a healthy, supportive partnership. The criticism was seen as another example of the relentless pressure Meghan faces. Defenders celebrated the couple's willingness to show affection, even under intense public gaze. In a world often cold and cynical, their warmth was refreshing. For these observers, the moment was not about neediness, but about love and solidarity. The embrace became a symbol of a modern, unafraid partnership. The Starlight Gala itself was a star-studded affair at LA's historic Orpheum Theatre. Celebrities from music, film and tech gathered for a common cause, with performances by Alicia Keys and John Legend. George Clooney hosted, adding to the night's glamour. Meghan's navy Carolina Herrera gown drew fashion praise for its elegance and simplicity. But beyond the style, the event's purpose was clear: raising funds for the Starlight Children's Foundation. Stories shared throughout the night highlighted the charity's impact on families facing serious illness. The Sussexes' presence amplified the cause, drawing global attention and donations. The guest list included Hollywood stars and business leaders, underscoring the event's significance. While the world debated a single gesture, the gala raised millions for children in need. The real story was one of collective generosity and hope. The uproar over Harry and Meghan's embrace reveals a paradox about public affection. Society celebrates love in art and media, yet scrutinizes it in real life, especially from public figures. For celebrities and royals, a simple touch becomes a statement, open to endless interpretation. The British monarchy in particular has long favoured emotional restraint. Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip rarely showed affection in public, setting a tone of formality. William and Catherine mostly follow suit, their displays of affection subtle and reserved. Harry and Meghan, by contrast, are openly tactile, challenging royal tradition. For some, their style is modern and relatable. For others, it's inappropriate or unroyal. This clash of expectations fuels the debate. A single gesture becomes a symbol, either of progress or of breaking with valued customs. The Sussexes' openness is seen as redefining what it means to be royal in the 21st century. For critics, it's a departure from tradition. For supporters, it's authenticity. The conversation is less about the couple and more about changing cultural norms. In the end, a touch is never just a touch when the world is watching. For public figures, showing affection is a balancing act. Too little, and they're called cold or distant. Too much, and they're accused of being performative or needy. The safe middle ground is almost impossible to maintain. Every gesture is a potential headline, every moment a risk. The constant presence of cameras means there's no true privacy in public. Even a private exchange can become global news in seconds. This relentless scrutiny puts strain on relationships, forcing couples to be hyper-aware of their every move. Authenticity becomes difficult when every action is judged. The Sussexes, like many in the spotlight, must prioritize their own reality over public perception. Navigating love under the microscope requires strength, trust, and resilience. Ultimately, the story of the Starlight Gala embrace is about more than Harry and Meghan. It reflects our complicated relationship with fame, privacy, and the meaning we assign to public gestures. In the digital age, everyone is a critic, and every moment is open to interpretation. The Sussexes' journey is a struggle to define their own narrative amid relentless scrutiny. Their affection is both a personal truth and a public statement. The debate says as much about us as it does about them, our values, our biases, our hunger for stories. In a world obsessed with image, perhaps the rarest commodity is compassion. And maybe that's what we should be celebrating most.